another package pile driver. Sami Zayn's dead. Kevin Owens comes out, who I also thought was dead at the end of the Cody match at the Royal Rumble.
Seemed pretty dead.
Pushes Sami Zayn, who goes into CM Punk, and then a package pile driver from Owens onto Zayn. Who could have seen it coming after they've turned on each other and reunited about 8 times in their career? I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, and still some are saying, illegally, you're Jam That Champion.
Who on earth is saying that?
Most people in the comments, most people I've spoken to. Smart people, they're smart people I've spoken to.
I've seen in the comments a lot of people saying that that's just a legitimate move in basketball.
They say...
Also, oh, what's this? Look at that. A little piece of paper. Still in there, is it? Well, that beautiful shot of mine.
It's very bad what you did. Illegal move what you did.
The championship has chosen me.
If you haven't already, please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave a comment down below with what you thought of this post-Rumble episode of Raw, and send in your Chat Gables, while Chat Gable himself goes off to find the secrets of Lucha Libre to WrestleTalk.com/support, or read out every single one over $5. And please check out Geology.
Geology, there is a QR code right above me. Scan the QR code, click the link in the video description down below, click the link that's being used by our moderating team, and head on over to Geology and get your skincare routine started today. And you can get 70% off your trial set using the promo code WRESTLE70. Click the link in the video description down below. Someone nicked it. Someone nicked my box.
Look under your seat.
Like an Oprah Winfrey thing, is it? Can Oprah?
Oh, I've got it.
Aha! There it is.
We brought it in earlier. Here it is.
There it is.
Luke uses it every day. I use it every day. Feel my skin today, actually.
Up top. Oh, hello.
It's not bad, is it?
That's good, man.
I've been really consistent the last couple of weeks because the problem with my regime isn't Geology. It's me.
Yeah. Well, that's what Geology is actually intended to sort of fix, is to try and make you a better you, both in terms of your skincare, but also your routine. We'll have more on that in a little bit.
Yeah. Right, so this episode of Raw ended kind of similar to the previous weeks, where it was 40 interconnected minutes of different segments and follow-through bits. It started about half an hour from the end, so last 30 minutes. You get Seth Rollins coming out. He talks about Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Jey Uso. Happy for Jey. He's a good guy. So Seth's kind of towing that line between babyface and heel, I would say. You could say shades of grey in actual true effect.
I would agree with that, because I have some thoughts on what he then says to Mr. Zayn.
Then, because Seth claims to have ruined Roman's WrestleMania plans because they're doing a sort of injury angle there off of that hellacious stomp.
Gnarly.
At Royal Rumble. He said, I'm going to ruin Punk's plans as well. And that will start by him not qualifying for the Elimination Chamber, which was the main event match. It was Punk versus Sami. So Seth calls out Sami Zayn, and he cuts a big hype-up promo for Sami.
Yeah, and it was like, you and I go back a really long way, and if there's one thing that I know about you is you also don't like CM Punk. You hate him just as much as all of us do. And he then, he says, Punk's already been putting you down by saying that you're not on his level. You've main evented WrestleMania, which is one of the main characters in WWE. You've main evented WrestleMania. You've been a champion. You're bigger and better than him. You're bigger than CM Punk. You are Sami Zayn. And it was this big hype-up promo to get Sami all hyped up so he can beat CM Punk and qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I felt this was not Seth hyping up Sami to win. It was hyping up for Punk to lose. I got from my read of this, Seth actually didn't care if Sami won, or Sami, I should say, he didn't care that Sami was going to qualify for the Elimination Chamber and go on to WrestleMania. He just wanted Punk to lose. And that's why he was hyping him up to that degree. He's not being a friend to Sami Zayn. He's being an enemy to CM Punk.
That's a really nice way of looking at it. And actually, yeah, I think you're onto something there, because it tracks Seth's trajectory into being consumed by hate very slowly over time, to where, yeah, he doesn't want what's best for his friends. he wants what's worst for his enemies.
That's a really nice way to put it, actually. Yeah, and I think you can then tie that into Cody. You know, he thought Cody was his friend. He thought they were really good buds. He thought that Jay was his friend. Jay eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. But, you know, it's like, oh, no, it's okay. I completely forgive you for that. He thought that Cody was a nice guy, but then Cody did what he did at the Royal Rumble. Maybe really the only person that genuinely has his back is Kevin Owens. Maybe Kevin Owens...
Don't know about that.
Well, then he stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
But, like, but last week when he was like, or, you know, 2 weeks ago when he was like, I know you'll have my back. Maybe Kevin Owens is Sami's only true friend in the world.
Oh, God, with friends like that, who needs
enemies?
frenemies? Earlier in the night, by the way, because you touched on it, Sami's backstage and he sees Jay. He's getting interviewed about the match with Punk, and he sees Jey Uso, and seems like they've not spoken since the moment Jay super kicked Sami and accidentally eliminated him from the Rumble. And Sami just goes up to him, bit tense for a couple of seconds, and then Sami goes, I'm happy for you, man. Of course I am. It's actually a really sweet moment.
It's very nice.
So you're like, okay, they're not going in that Sami Jay direction. Maybe that's something they pick up post-Mania, which is what we kind of speculated on. But then walks in Karrion Kross.
That was going to be my next point. You're absolutely bang on the banana.
Yeah, the Mr. Manipulator. And he says, oh, that's so sweet, you and Jay. But Sami just goes, look, if you're just going to keep on walking up to me backstage, we're going to have a problem. And Kross turns mean as well. Seems like setting up a match between the two.
Well, I think we've been building to that since they started that program, you know, when he was pointing out, it's like, hey, you kind of suck, right?
But did Woods ever have a match with Kross?
Yeah, I think they had a match. Yeah.
They had a match. Yeah. But whatever it is, if you interact with Kross, your character will turn heel in about 6 months' time.
But I don't know if he's going to turn heel. I just think it's a really... I mean, but maybe he is. Maybe they do Owens and Zayn. Like, this is actually a bit of a misdirect. And, like, this is going to... When Sami does return... I hadn't considered this, but... I hadn't considered this. So maybe this is all one big misdirect. It's meant to make us think that it's going to be Kevin versus Sami at WrestleMania. What if this is actually the reuniting of Kevin and Sami as a partnership, when Sami returns and realizes that there was only one person that really had his best interest at heart, and in his own weird, manipulative way, that was Kevin Owens. Because I do believe that Kevin Owens didn't really mean what he said when he was talking about I've got your back and I've got yours, but I will always forgive you, you'll always forgive me. But in Kevin Owens' warped mind... he probably was telling the truth, at least the Kevin Owens version of the truth.
Well, let's maybe pick that up in a bit. I think it's unlikely that Sami and Owens will end up being an act anytime soon together. Okay, let's carry on then. So Punk and Sami then have this excellent match in the main event.
Very good.
Very good.
Well, it's very good, yeah.
This is my favorite Raw TV match of the year.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up, everyone in the comments. I've had enough. Look, there's Sami versus Seth versus Punk was good.
Very good.
Drew versus Seth was good.
Great. Penta versus Jay. Penta versus Chad.
That was decent, yeah.
Whoa, look at this scorching hot take here on Tuesday, the 4th of February, 2025. Penta versus Chad was all right, I guess.
Look, you're backing me into a corner, and I'm lashing out in ways I don't want to. I don't believe that, but let me just have this. I really, really enjoyed Punk versus Sami Zayn.
Sure.
They have never wrestled. Not in WWE, not in Ring of Honor, not in any of the other promotions that exist. This is a first time ever match. Mm-hmm. And they didn't work it like a norm. It didn't feel like another WWE match or main event. Mm-hmm. It felt quite real early on. They are chopping each other. It's a bit messy, but then when they get into the sort of sequences of reversals, it feels like they've been wrestling each other for decades.
Yeah, really, really good communication between the two of them. There was a great sequence where Punk avoided the haluva kick, got up for the GTS. Sami got out of that, then got this brilliant small package, really rolled him up tight, and like Punk kicking out at 2.999. Punk's reaction was like, I did kick out before 3,
yes,
right?
Yeah. You don't usually get that where the guy who was pinned checks that he kicked out in time. It's usually the guy doing the pinning. No, that was 3.
Yeah.
And also Punk was going to do his usual running bulldog spot. Sami Zayn twisted him into a blue thunder bomb off of that. I just Punk and Sami are very different people, but I think they have very similar detail-orientated approaches to wrestling. And that mix, this felt like a... Did it feel like a ring? It felt like a Ring of Honor throwback match for a match that I never saw.
I don't know if I would go that far to say this felt like a...
Penta versus Chad Gable was steaming crap and you all ate it. Shouldn't do that.
Stop knocking the sponsor over.
No, again, I'm lashing out. I love geology.
No, I wouldn't go as far as to say this was Ring of Honor, old school Ring of Honor, but maybe a Ring of Honor.
Maybe I'm going too much.
But it was a really good main event, a really good match, and I actually loved the character work that Punk was doing in the match, where he was at times too focused on the WrestleMania sign. It's his in his mind. I think everyone, and this is where I'll give this topic credit, where I've not been giving a lot of credit because I find it a bit cringe. This idea that he is not currently on track to be in the main event of WrestleMania is starting to get to him a little bit, because they even said on commentary, he's too focused on the WrestleMania sign because he's pointing at it. This is where I'm heading. At one point, he even said to Sami Zayn, like, "Listen up, Scar Boy." I'm pointing at the sign, and he got too focused on that, and that's what led to Sami getting some of those near falls.
Yeah, it was before that sequence you mentioned of the GTS near fall. Sami's in the corner, and Punk gets right close up to him, forces Sami to look at the WrestleMania sign, and just goes, "You are not on my level." I'm like, dude, this is heel Punk. I'm getting heel Punk while still being able to enjoy babyface Punk.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really well done, but ultimately it was Sami setting up the haluva kick. He's going for it, but Punk GTS reversal for the win.
Yeah.
So he won clean.
Very good.
Punk is going for that. And then afterwards, Punk and Sami shake hands. Mm-hmm. So instantly, I'm like, oh my God, Seth's going to be annoyed. Drew's going to be annoyed. Although, what isn't he annoyed about at the moment? And then Owens, of course, who I just assumed we weren't going to see for a couple of weeks, given that he finished the pay-per-view without a head on Saturday, appears, pushes Sami into Punk. That takes out Punk, which is really good, because that's why Punk isn't then saving Sami. And then he hits the package pile driver, which we've not seen since the Cody injury angle back in November, December, yeah. And he hits it, and Sami's dead. Owens can also barely stand, because he had that awful bump-filled match on Saturday. Here he is just 2 days later. It's not like he's no-selling that match. I liked it more because it's like, he is so consumed by hate. That has got him out of whatever hospital bed he was in. He got in a car, drove to the arena, and with his last bit of effort, he hit Sami Zayn, broke his neck, because Sami didn't help him at the Rumble.
Hate has fueled him while wearing Sami Zayn merch.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
He was wearing the Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't kind of pick up on that, because Netflix kept on cutting to black.
Okay, so Netflix did have some issues towards the end, but this bit of my Netflix feed actually played fine. It felt like it was like, you're not actually that arsed about the match. We'll have all of our problems in the match. But then the post-match was completely fine.
Just from my expert live broadcast eye, which is considerable.
It's actually
pretty experienced.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
The Netflix...
But you cut your teeth.
The Netflix Chiron was on screen throughout these issues. So that to me suggests it's not Netflix's problem. It's an on-site location issue.
Right.
So if I was doing very superficial diagnosing of the problem in the minute,
and you work for Netflix,
and I worked for Netflix.
It's not us, guys.
There's something wrong with the satellite feed at the location broadcasting to us, because I can see our broadcast is going out fine. That Netflix logo isn't flickering. But I don't know. I didn't work in streaming back then. We had to get video cassettes, and we'd wind them, and then we'd snip them with little scissors to get the bits right.
Don't want to be hearing that. What's your man Shapiro works at WWE.
Mark Shapiro.
Who did that thing at like a business conference a few years back, where he was like, "Why do we tour so much? Why are all of our shows live from different locations? This makes no business sense. We should be just doing this from one place." Don't be. If he starts hearing, "Oh, it was a satellite issue," he's like, "I told you guys, you used to do it from one location. Why are we touring this thing?"
But I genuinely think that will, like, by the end of the year, I should have said this in our predictions. WWE will buy a venue and they will run sort of
TV from there.
20% of their shows a year from it.
I actually think you're onto something, because that is, it's about making money at the end of the day and making the most money. And one of the best ways to make the most money is to not have so many production trucks traveling up and down the country. Have those production trucks to go to one place.
And do you know where that theory came from? Watching The Rock's Ballers, where he starts a sports company and buys venues.
For a second, I think you said The Rock's ball.
Yeah, it's come from The Rock's balls. These ideas, he said, "Hey, Triple H, maybe I should take Cody's shot."
Yeah.
Straight from my balls. That idea, straight from my balls.
Yeah.
There's my idea. Well, let's not rule out the fact that Jay is going to show up on SmackDown on Friday.
If he's going
and he's going to say, "Well, I could face you, Cody Rhodes, or I could give my shot too."
Actually, I think SummerSlam's a better option for me, really.
I'm not going to main event WrestleMania. Look at me.
I think we're all in agreement. I'm not going to main event WrestleMania.
This guy will.
This guy can. If you smell.
So yeah, we've got KO and Sami beating each other up here. The next pay-per-view is Elimination Chamber in Canada. I don't know where in Canada.
Toronto?
Are they from Montreal?
They are from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But I believe that Elimination Chamber is from Toronto. Vancouver.
Yeah.
Alberta. Whistler. Okay. It's it's Big Bear. Is that in Canada? I don't think that's in Canada. I think that's in California. It's in, where's another place I went to in Canada?
Train
Golden.
Station.
Golden. Yeah, Golden's a beautiful part of Canada.
Okay, sure. Elimination Chamber's in Golden, Canada. But Sami and Kevin Owens are both from Canada. Do we get... This, to me, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Is it Sami versus Owens at WrestleMania? Or is it Sami versus Owens 1 at Canada? And then Sami versus Owens 2, the big blow-off stipulation ladder war match at WrestleMania?
I think you just write Sami off TV for a while, because and
you don't have him on Chamber, or he makes his return at Chamber, screws over Owens.
Maybe, because I mean, we don't even know what Owens is going to be doing at Chamber just yet. Like, I don't think he'll be wrestling. Maybe he will be wrestling there, because could
he get in the Chamber? He's not in the Chamber qualifiers.
There's only one other match to announce for the Chamber qualifiers, because it's very Raw heavy as a thing, because it's Punk's qualified, and next week it's Ray and Logan, and then the week after that it's Seth and Finn. Cena's already announced for the Rumble. So there's 2 more then to qualify?
Well, does it work? So Jay will presumably make his decision soon, and whichever one he chooses, the winner of the Chamber goes for the other belt.
I guess so.
Which makes more sense, because we think Jay is going to choose Gunther, which means Punk, Cena, whoever the other guys are, they would go for Cody.
Yes. Yeah.
And Owens could be
one
in
of
that
those,
because he just had the match against Cody.
I guess so. You'd have to win a qualifier to get into it, though, wouldn't he? But like,
Cena didn't.
Yeah, but he's John Cena. He's best for business.
But yeah, I thought it was a really effective angle from a product that I feel has missed big, cool angles recently. Been doing really good slow build stuff. I missed an angle like this that closed the show.
I thought it was really good. And it really surprised me, because I was not expecting to see Kevin Owens on this show, because I really thought, I like your rationale behind it as well. It's like, he's not no-selling, which I think some people might say that he is, or feel like he is. I didn't feel like he was no-selling the injury, considering that, Cody walked out of that match and his WrestleMania's in jeopardy, doing bunny ears. But like, Owens showed up on Raw the next night and did a move. But I think it's more like it's hate is powering him.
Yeah. Let's see what you all thought on the chat, Gables. WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one over $5. Geek of Arabia writes, so hear me out. Sami not interfering with the ladder match, getting eliminated in the Rumble after trying to help out Roman, perceived slight to KO, and not getting into the chamber, says that he isn't fighting enough for himself. Ergo, Cross was right again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a doormat. He's putting everyone else ahead of him.
That's it. He apologized. Well, he didn't apologize, but he forgave Jay for eliminating him from the Royal Rumble. You know, it's like, hey, no, it's fine. I'm glad that you won.
Yeah.
Like, no, bud, what about you? Got to think of yourself sometimes. It's what Karen Cross kept saying to him. Like, you got to stop listening to your heart. Stop listening to your head. And that's why I'm going with it. It's my big prediction. Zayn returns and helps Kevin Owens do something, and that's going to reunite them as a tag team. And Zayn's going to be like, he was the only one who had my back.
This has gotten out of control. It was just a casually mentioned thing 5 minutes ago.
Now I'm going with it.
Heiko.
I wasn't even brushing my teeth when I thought of it.
Heiko. The wrestling knowledge has been downloaded to you. Heiko Menberg for 4 months. Thank you very much. I'm surprised that Owens didn't disappear for at least another week. I don't hate it. He did seem to be selling after the pile driver, but it is odd. I'm okay with it, but I can see why people would be like,
I agree.
But you were dead.
Yeah.
Ace Trainer Lerm. Watching Sami and KO really makes me miss El Generico. It's a shame what happened to him, sacrificing his life to save those orphans from the fire with the Archbishops of Banterbury. They will all be missed, gone, but never forgotten.
El Generico.
Archbishops of Banterbury.
I know.
Well, that's from another life.
I was going to say, was that the one that you used to use?
It's what we used to say.
That's right. Oh, no, we were the Archbishops of Banterbury. No, but when I was at uni...
Oh, he does actually say that
Archbishops. Oh, the Archbishops. That is us then. Yeah, that is us. So our university one was Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm. Geek of Arabia writes, there are some who theorize that Chad Gable is going to the great El Generico. I never thought of that.
I'm not ruling it out.
So I think that would be not selling.
Well, they're different people.
You hear that Curryman wrestled on the Jericho Cruise?
I know. He worked us.
He's spicy.
He tastes great. He worked us all.
But that is impossible, for Generico is both a great hero and would never teach dark arts to Gable, but also Generico died saving orphans from a burning fire. R.I.P. El Generico.
Yeah. So that's the second name I've heard of who they think it could be as like, have you heard this is what the internet is saying? And I don't like either of them because number one, El Generico, no longer with us, but also B, he's a good guy. He's not going to help Chad Gable. The other one, this is the one that editor Wes brought up. He was like, people are thinking it's Aleister Black. And I'm like, whoa, I don't think we're going to bring Aleister Black here and put him in a comedy storyline with Chad Gable.
But that is also 100% what could happen. Yes, I do like the visual of mute Generico explaining the dark arts of Lucha Libre. But yeah, doubt that will happen. Harriet Mangagel, Menberg for 26 months. Hello, Harriet. Says, honestly, was not expecting that ending to Raw, but it was so well done that I'm fully locked into what happens next with Sami.
Mm-hmm.
I think even a couple of weeks ago, we were a bit down on the idea of Owens going against Sami. We're like, yeah, you could do that, I guess. But now having watched it unfold, I'm like, I'm ready for this. And you can tell the story of 2 years ago, they won the tag titles together. Last year, Owens embraced Sami to go and win a singles title. And this year, they're sworn enemies.
Yeah.
Good
Nice.
long-term booking. Right. Geology, before we get into our play-by-play review, go make your face nice.
Indeed. Thank you so much to this episode's sponsor, Geology. Click the link in the video description down below. Scan the QR code that's just above my head here, or click the link that our moderators are putting in right now, and head on over to Geology and start your skincare routine, a better skincare routine today. Geology has thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews. It has won multiple awards, a brand new one, in fact, very recently, and it has genuinely changed the way that I do my skincare routine, which prior to this was pretty much null. So what geology is you go onto their website, you fill out this form, and that gives you what they think you need for your skincare routine, and they send it to you in the post. And it's like, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to improve this. They tailor it towards you and send it across. You get a trial set for this, and you get 70% off this trial set using our link in the video description down below and using the promo code WRESTLE70. But they've been sponsoring us now for 3 years or so.
Oh, yeah.
And it genuinely has been brilliant. So I get my subscription from them, and I really do love this as a product. And I used to have quite bad bags under my eyes, and that's why I asked for my skincare routine, was to try and look after my eyes and try and make them look a little bit like I've always got this worry that I'm going to look like CM Punk in 2014 when he was just like at the end of his tether. He was like, I'm so done.
Yeah. Got a Z-Pack for that.
So, for each eyelid.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's done on me all right. I think I'm looking all right at the moment.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I used to just get flakes of skin in my eyebrows, and it was so annoying. We've got a mirror over there on the wall, pretty much, so I can check myself before we start the
Before
news.
you wreck yourself.
And since using this, I mean, years ago, it stopped it because when I do it, it stopped it. Yeah.
Yeah,
so, really good.
Great service. So click the link in the video description down below. Click the link that our moderators are posting in the live chat, or scan the QR code that's just above my head. It won't take you to a weird Wyatt 6 thing. It will take you to Geology. Thank you so much to Geology for sponsoring this episode.
Right, so this episode of Raw came from Cleveland, and it was framed around the Elimination Chamber. So we got 2 qualifying matches. One for the women's, one for the men's. And over the next couple of weeks, I guess on Raw and maybe SmackDown,
Yeah, I guess
we're going to get more.
Yeah.
But the opening segment was Jey Uso.
Oh, the internet hates him. He's going to get booed out of the building when
yeah.
he shows up with all those dislikes on the YouTube video. This man's going to get booed from Kingdom Come.
Nice work, WWE. Way to ruin your momentum.
Yep, I'm not watching WrestleMania, and I'm sure everyone in Cleveland will also not cheer him either. Boo this man.
Jey came out, and he got heavily yeeted. That's a good way, a good thing. And he, honestly, for 15 minutes, he didn't say a word. For 15 minutes, everyone chanted yeet. They stopped chanting yeet. And then they chanted one more time. They restarted it up again, and they did like 40 more seconds of yeeting.
Yeah.
I cannot deny that this guy is over.
Over is over.
And you've got to try and make new stars. Everything on paper. And you know what? Even in practice, I totally agree with WWE doing, and I respect them for it. For my personal tastes, I'm not really engaged in the Jey Uso character. I thought this was overly long.
I've written it. It takes some time to compose stuff. Maybe a little long. Come on, mate. We've got a show to do here.
Yeah. And it's a horrible thing to say because I'm also really happy for the guy.
I know. Well, I'm in the same boat that you are, because like he's so over. He should have won the Royal Rumble. I think Yeetlemania or Yeetmania, whichever one they're going to go with, I do think is a good call to make. I think that the thumbs down ratio on YouTube videos is just early. I didn't want this, but they don't really know why they don't want this. Because I checked the thumbs down ratio to the Raw clip, and it's not as vociferous as it was for the Rumble clip, which means that it really was just recency bias anger. It's not actual real anger. It's reactionary. But at the same time, I'm not that massively into the Jey Uso character, to the point where I've written in my notes here, he said he didn't believe in himself, but he's worked so hard to get the spot, and he thanks everyone. I need Gunther to come out and chop this geek.
Yeah, he talked about his career, how he joined the Bloodline. He didn't have self-confidence, but he's got it now. He won the Rumble. He worked really hard to get into this position. He's stuttering. He's obviously crying. Yeah. It was very similar to it was a more composed version, but very similar to his Intercontinental title win promo.
I preferred this one to his promo from last week, where he just gassed himself out doing his taunt, and then was just like, hey, I'm not that bothered that I lost last night, but it's all right because I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. This one actually was a genuinely lovely and wonderful, heartfelt promo that, as someone who was not massively into the Jey Uso character, did endear me to him. Like, I make my snide jokes here and there, but it did endear me to him. I think what I was disappointed with this segment was that I don't think Gunther made enough of, or like even Jay made enough of, the history that these two have together. Because you can tell a very compelling story here, which is, I mean, granted, it's a bit of copy and paste from the Sami Zayn story you did last year, but it does work with these two. He couldn't beat him for the IC title. He couldn't beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship. Couldn't beat him for King of the Ring. But I won the Royal Rumble, and I do believe. And Gunther's like I've beaten you 3 times. Like this is literally nothing for me.
Yeah, Gunther did sort of. He didn't say that exactly. That would have been a better route to go. Gunther was more about how, well, I've beaten you already. Don't choose me because I want actually someone good at WrestleMania.
I want a challenge.
I want John Cena. I want CM Punk. When I beat them at WrestleMania, that'll be a big step in my legacy. If I beat you, I'm going to beat you. I've beaten you already. Like, choose someone else, man. Move on.
I beat you a week ago.
Yeah.
Man.
Which is like, that's one of the main criticisms I've also seen, but we just saw that a week ago and Gunther beat him. And yeah.
But I think that's part of the story.
It is part of the story, and I get that. Is it the best story? I guess.
No, but I think here's what I'll say. I think it is a better story than any other pitch I've heard for what Gunther could do at WrestleMania. Because every other big match that I've heard pitched for WrestleMania has not involved Gunther or his World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. This is the first time that either a pitch has been made to me, like from you or from anyone in the office or from one of our live chats or in the Ultra chats or WWE on TV. This is the first pitch that I've heard where I'm like, well, that actually made the world title look like it's important at WrestleMania, and it's a good direction for Gunther in the World Championship.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's like, again, just in summary from me, really happy for the guy. I think WWE, I respect them for getting behind someone like this. Well, he's 39.
Yeah, all right.
I keep thinking, oh, yeah, like great young talent. He's not Bron Breakker.
But so's Cody.
Yeah, but Cody's been a top guy for a couple of years now.
I know, but like Damian Priest is like 4 years older. No one was saying like he's an old lad to be winning the world title.
But they are. Like,
they're not that. Like, he's the same age as me. I'm not an old lad.
To be at that level, it's like you've got
I am
10
at the top level.
Left.
I'm the champion.
You've sort of got 5 years left at a sort of full-time schedule, I would say.
Strong disagree. Not with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are this is not like our day when you were the Bulldog was 38 when he came back for the WWF and he looked like he was about 62.
But then you look at who's 45 plus. It's CM Punk. It's John Cena.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, well, of course, Bobby Lashley is awesome. AEW's different.
Time moves slower.
They make you wrestle to your 60 over there. He wants Sting to come back, I bet. Okay, so moving on, though. Jay said he's going to go to SmackDown on Friday to talk to Cody, teasing that he hasn't actually made up his mind.
Last thing to add on to this from me is this segment here really is the solidification. Twitter is not a real place.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Penta then took on Ludwig Kaiser. I love the reasoning for this match. Penta was the Iron Man in the Rumble. Ludwig Kaiser was eliminated by Penta, and Ludwig Kaiser had the shortest amount of time in the Rumble at 6 seconds.
Very, very good.
Have a match.
Yep.
They had a match. It was really good back and forth, not particularly long. Penta did the arm break spot and the Penta driver to win. Afterwards, Jackie Redmond did the in-ring interview, saying, Penta, you're undefeated. So maybe we'll get a bit of an undefeated streak thing going.
Yeah, I think... Do you reckon they were still going to do the Ray match for Mania?
Was that the plan?
I don't know. I think it's some people speculate it could be the direction.
I think...
It's just speculation, I should say.
Yeah. I'm going to say something a bit controversial. I don't think Latino wrestlers have to just wrestle other Latino wrestlers.
I agree. But that is like... I mean, granted, they just did it in the Rumble, I guess. But that, I say, would be the dream match to do is, of Ray versus Penta. Penta
had a backstage glimpse at the IC title on Bron Breakker's shoulder last week. I'm not saying that's what you do at WrestleMania, but that is an example of an actual match I really want to see.
I'm afraid
that gets me going in my rock balls.
I'm afraid there is a bro kick about to hit you in those rock balls there.
He's never going to win.
It's Sheamus.
He's never going to win it.
That's why he lost at Saturday Night's main event, because he's going to win it at WrestleMania, and the same for Jay.
Oh, yeah. So after this, Penta's undefeated. He's just about to answer, and Pete Dunne's music hit. The guy Penta beat the previous week, I think. And Ludwig Kaiser attacks Penta from behind, Kaiser walks out, and they have a sort of ships passing in the night moment with Pete Dunne.
Yeah, I was surprised on the lower third graphics at the Rumble that it said for Ludwig Kaiser part of Imperium. I was like, is he? Are they still a thing?
I think he's going to be part of the new Catch Republic.
Well, that's what I was thinking here. Like, I could see those two as a tag team together.
Yeah, it's a bit makeshift, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, both guys have been beaten by Penta. I suppose, booking-wise, is it Dunne, Kaiser versus Penta and someone else?
Ray Phoenix.
If he's available to come in? Or is this just like the secondary bit to the IC title? Like, is this the number one contenders scene for bronze belt?
Or is it just something for Penta to do for a bit while we wait for Phoenix to come in?
Judgment Day, they're boring still. Finn Balor gets backstage. He's like, what the hell happened, guys?
Whoa, infighting with the Judgment Day? It is a new chapter.
Finn's like, I'm gone for a week, and you took my tag team title shot. JD's dead. What the hell's wrong with my new music? Didn't say that part, but
that's what we're all thinking.
And Dom's like, well, I actually got you a Elimination Chamber qualifying match in a couple of weeks' time.
How?
Yes, I thought that.
But did you ask Adam Pearce? Adam Pearce was like, yeah, that does sound like a good idea. Because I don't think it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
When was the last time Finn
matchmaking
Balor
about.
won anything?
So yeah, and then Finn's like, oh, I guess that is pretty cool of you, man.
I hate this group. This group sucks, man.
Like, I thought, well, at least when Liv loses the women's belt and the boys lose the tag belts, and they're not feuding with Priest and Rhea anymore, at least we can then move on. I was sort of optimistic about this next bit for the Judgment Day, but it is just nothing. They're not feuding with anyone else, really. It's just Finn being crappy to the other members of the team. Don't know what's going on with Dom anymore. Yeah, these have become very skippable segments.
They're worse than the Death Riders. As the weeks go on, the more I am behind that train. I said it as a joke to start with because the Death Riders are garbage. But the more the time goes on, more I'm like, I think I do believe that as a true statement now.
But the Judgment Day don't have such a effect over the whole company anymore.
No, it does, because I want to turn the show off. Like, at any time they cut back to the den, like I've got an itchy trigger finger to skip 10 seconds.
You know all that stuff we said about Jay and the internet reaction to them, and well, in real life,
Twitter's
those
not a real
trolls
place.
don't exist. That isn't the case for Charlotte Flair.
Well, I think it's different with Charlotte Flair because she was booed the last time she was here because she's always a heel. And we're sick of seeing Charlotte Flair get pushed, or WWE fans are sick of seeing Charlotte Flair get pushed. Jay's exciting to be pushed. He's new. He's only 39.
He's only been here for 15 years. But some of that was in face paint, so it's like a new guy. I'll tell you what happened with the Charlotte Flair promo, and then we'll unpack it. So Charlotte comes out. She says that the crowd are already booing her. And she says, look, 2 years ago, that would have bothered me. But when I was recovering from my knee injury, I missed you all. So whether you boo me or cheer me, I still love you all. And the crowd just kept on booing. And it made her start to turn on the audience and say, oh, boo me. It's just going to fire me up. Boom, boom, boom. And then Rhea Ripley comes out and she talks about, hey, we're one win apiece at WrestleMania. When you beat me, I was a much younger person. I'm totally different now. And Charlotte says, well, you know, I'm going to go to NXT to see if Julia inspires me. I'm going to go to SmackDown to see if Tiffany Stratton inspires me. You're just a kid. Maybe I'll pick you. And Rhea says, please pick me so I can beat the respect into you.
Thought Rhea was great in the segment.
Rhea was awesome. And she actually made me want to see Ripley versus Flair too.
Me too. And it's a good reminder as to why people didn't want Charlotte Flair to win this Royal Rumble. Because Tempest has made this point recently where Charlotte Flair doesn't have a character. And this is just reaffirming his point that she doesn't really have a character. Her character is that she sometimes wins titles and then sometimes loses them.
Well, I think she has got a character. She's horrible.
This reminds me.
She's arrogant.
Do you remember when this Britt Baker? Same thing happened with Britt Baker on AEW recently, where she tried to come out and cut this promo, being like, "Hey guys, I was out for so long. You know, I had this real bad injury. Boo, boo, f your sob story. We're done with you now." I'd lean into this because I think this
definitely.
is. I am. I think I said this on the Rumble review. I think I said it on the live reactions. I am more into the idea of Flair versus Ripley than I am Flair versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, sure. Because I feel like Stratton will just lose to Charlotte. Whereas Ripley, I feel like Ripley could win.
I think either way, Charlotte Flair's not winning the title at WrestleMania. But I am more into Flair versus Ripley than I am Flair versus Stratton. Although I have heard an incredible pitch that came in on the live stream that Tiffany Stratton should be played out to the ring by Scene Queen doing Pink Bubblegum because she had it as a one music video in the summer of last year. And I haven't stopped thinking about it, so I think that's actually a really great idea.
Well, yeah, book that then.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the bit I can't figure out. WWE definitely booked Charlotte as a babyface in the Royal Rumble match.
Yes.
They went out of their way for Charlotte to not get booed in certain spots by giving those spots to Nia Jax.
Correct.
Nia Jax was essentially a heat shield
Mm-hmm.
from Charlotte, so she would get rid of the women that could have got Charlotte booed if she eliminated them.
Correct.
So on Saturday night, they're like, Charlotte, you're a babyface. And then she has this segment here, which to me doesn't feel like a segment where she starts out as a babyface and then leans into some heel reactions, and that was always the plan. It felt like, no, you're a babyface. Go out there and be a babyface. But the crowd did not treat her that way.
So I think she was supposed to be the babyface in this segment the entire time.
WWE I think so. Yeah.
Because what she was doing was John Cena's promos from back in the day when the crowd were really booing him. Like there was a period in time, sort of like 2006 into 2007, going into 2008. That was when the crowd, show after show after show after show, it started out as a whisper, then became Cena sucks. When his music would hit, boo, you know, and it became this overwhelming thing. So they then had to start doing this thing of being like, oh, he's divisive. Oh, well, metalheads like him, but rap kids love him. And then it got to the point where John Cena had to go and be like, well, the thing is, you guys, I don't mind if you boo me because you're the WWE fans and you can do whatever you want. And doing his weird John Cena promos. But his point was, you are all free to do whatever you want. So if you want to cheer me or boo me, I love each and every one of you anyway. And that is what Charlotte Flair was doing in this promo segment. It's like, I don't mind if you boo me because you are free to boo me if you want to.
Well, we'll see where we go with that. Charlotte will be on NXT tonight and SmackDown on Friday. We got the interview with Sami backstage. Rio and IYO SKY pass each other backstage, and IYO's like, I'll see you at WrestleMania, Rhea. Presumably because she's going to win the Chamber qualifier. But then Raquel jumps Ripley, and Liv Morgan jumps IYO to set up the match later on. The New Day then take on LWO of Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. And it's a fine match. And Logan Paul comes out because he's Cleveland's own. He's got a match against Rey Mysterio next week to qualify to be in the Chamber. And Logan cost Rey the match, and New Day actually got a win.
But they were the third wheel of the segment.
Yeah. I happy that they got a win, but I mean, it's only on paper. Sort of in practice, it didn't feel like they had the match won. It was actually a really good run from Dragon Lee near the end there, and Rey Mysterio. And yeah, like, I think this New Day act 2 months ago, they were the most talked about thing in wrestling.
Yep.
Not in the Rumble, lost 2 singles matches to Rey.
And only one here because Logan Paul got involved.
What are they doing?
The story's completely fallen apart. The story was they were not on the same page. And now they're on the same page and they suck.
Yeah. We've said everything already. Logan Paul's good in that I hate him, and that's his role.
I guess so.
Then we got a Roman Reigns update from Michael Cole, where Michael Cole said Roman could be out for the foreseeable future. Roman and Paul Heyman are keeping the actual injury close to their chest, but the trainer says he's probably going to miss WrestleMania.
He's out for the foreseeable future. Him and Cody. Rough night for WWE's top stars.
Yeah. To work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathy Kelly interviewed Punk backstage, and then we got the IYO SKY versus Liv Morgan match, which was great until the finish.
I thought it was good until the finish.
This was Liv Morgan's best match in ages.
You reckon?
Yeah.
It was fine.
Well, it's mostly IYO.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
On the graphics, when they came out, they had the 2K25 rankings or stats. Liv had 91 and IYO had 89. And I just felt like Bret Hart just burst out of my chest. I was like, that is nonsense! Lynette, that is nonsense!
I don't understand. Because people get really worked up over the stats and stuff. I'm like, it's interchangeable stuff. And really, I don't think it affects the gameplay whatsoever.
So IYO's working injured, kayfabe, in this because of the backstage attack. So she's selling the shoulder. And also, Raquel's interfering constantly from ringside. I thought they're putting so many bits here that I feel like it's a swerve. That IYO is actually going to win this match and overcome all these odds.
Yeah, and I thought that as well. Because Raquel kept getting involved and kept sort of cheating behind the referee's back. I was like, this is surely this is going to lead to IYO winning this match.
It was almost like they did it was IYO got up to do the moonsault, and that's when Raquel would distract the referee. IYO gets up to do the moonsault again. Raquel distracts the referee. It's like, okay, well, you're doing the same spot. The reason usually you do that is because you do it a third time, the heel's gone to the well too many occasions, and the babyface triumphs. So either, I guess, Sky's going to take out Raquel and beat Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, Rhea Ripley ran down to beat up Raquel. Liv grabbed Rhea's hair through the ropes, so Rhea just punched her, and the referee awarded the match to Liv via DQ.
I thought Liv sold this quite well when she looked at the referee as the referee was making a decision, and then she just laughed.
That's the first thing you have to say to this. Not how lame this finish was.
Oh yeah, it's a lame finish. Don't get me wrong, but I thought that Liv sold it well.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, but I always think she performs her character well. But yeah, this really frustrated me. This felt like another era of WWE of really crappy finishes.
Do you not think this now sets up IYO to be involved with a world title thing at WrestleMania?
Yeah, it does. No, I think it sets up IYO and Rhea Ripley for Elimination Chamber.
Oh, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Because afterwards, Ripley tries to apologize, and IYO's sad and walks off.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Why do I ever care? Because, of course, IYO SKY, WWE see her as a dependable hand. You will fight for the title on the B show.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that, but I think maybe you're right. Because I was thinking, like, maybe you could do a triple threat where, like, it's her... I was about to say it's her, Liv, and IYO, but I don't want to do her and Liv again. But then I was like, but surely if she just gets put into a triple threat, that really undermines the Elimination Chamber if Charlotte's picking Tiff. So I don't want them to do a triple threat match. But I was like, man, you're doing a lot with Rhea and IYO here, so surely that's going to lead to something. I hadn't considered the Elimination Chamber. You're absolutely right. We did skip over one segment that I thought was really funny. Because they announced that the next qualifier they're doing next week is Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley. And they said that the loser will see their WrestleMania dreams disappear. But Lyra should be fine. She is the Intercontinental Champion. I was like, how can you put a video package out where you're like, yeah, the Intercontinental Champion might lose this match and her WrestleMania dreams will be over? Well, surely she should be defending that belt at WrestleMania, right?
No.
Surely she's important. She's important to WrestleMania. She's a champion.
She's on the Raw before the show.
Yeah.
That's what she'll do. Then we got a fun bit with the Viking Raiders. They're putting over JD backstage. Everyone, babyface or heel, is going out of their way to say JD is a tough son of a bitch. Hope you get better, JD. But then American Made walk in, and Chad Gables all like, I'm going to leave you guys for a bit. It gave me big going to Peru for a week vibes from Madam Web.
Guys, can you just stay with Adam Scott for a week?
So Chad Gable is going to go and learn the dark arts of Lucha Libre for a while. We don't know how long. And he said, when I get back, Creeds, you better be the tag team champions. Ivy Nile, you better be the IC champion. That's how Lyra Valkyria doesn't get Her WrestleMania moment. So surely this is setting up a series of skits.
Yeah, surely. And that's what I mean. It's a comedy storyline. I don't think this should be for Aleister Black.
No, that makes no sense.
No, it makes zero sense.
But I'm really excited. I do hope they go the full production hog on this. What do you think if Chad gets back and Ivy has won the IC belt and Creeds have won the tag belts and they've been really successful without him? And he comes back and he's like, what?
I just need to double check something. Before I make my point, I want to double check something quick.
I just like Chad comes back and they go, hey, we can win without you.
Oh, I hadn't considered that. I thought maybe he comes back and he's like, I am now a master of Lucha Libre, so I want to beat a Lucha Libre star. So I did have to go and check. The current Speed champion is Dragon Lee.
Yeah, that feels about this level, doesn't it?
So maybe he could beat him for the Speed championship on Twitter.
And then Adam Pearce said AJ Styles is coming to Raw, part of the final movements in the transfer portal. Although I think Drew McIntyre will get announced for SmackDown on SmackDown.
Yeah, particularly if this Mania direction is him versus Priest. Good direction for Drew there.
And then Bron walked in, Bron Breakker, and was like, "What? Any plans for this?" And then they went off and talked business about the Intercontinental title.
What did you make of the transfer portal? What's your favourite? Do you want to do a rankings video of the moves?
I love that Wyatt 6 debut on SmackDown. I think ultimately it's just a bit of admin because they'll do a bigger draft in May.
Yeah. What were the big moves? Bayley to Raw. Drew and Wyatt 6 to SmackDown, I would say, are pretty big. Yeah. Wyatt 6 have had two
Damian
matches.
Priest to SmackDown?
Oh, yeah, Damian Priest moved. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, they could have just switched people and I wouldn't have cared.
Or noticed.
Yeah. And then we're into the Seth Rollins segment, which we've already talked about, and the really good ending to the show. Overall, I actually thought this was a really good episode. I know I crapped on quite a few bits in there, but the final half hour,
it's totally good.
You can't deny the crowd reaction to Jey Uso and the Kevin Owens more heel turn at the end. I thought it was great.
It's felt like a show where we are on the road to WrestleMania, and it made me very excited for that. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. And I thought the highs were super duper high. And, there's some other stuff on there which is like, it's fine. But I did very much enjoy the show overall.
Please have your vote. The poll is on screen now. We'll read that out at the end of the show. And also, please go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk where you can get a shout out on this very episode. Like Big Jiggy, Josh Martin.
Born to Do It, Evan Shibley.
Abominable, Michael Abbott.
The Machine Gun, Alex Anderson.
He's a sexy man. Not an Andrew Gross man.
Balding Brummy, Brett Linford.
Go Ace, Ace of Spades, Adrian Saint.
Saint Hill,
sorry.
The Cleaner, Kenny Shaw.
The British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr.
The Roller Coaster, Robert Acosta.
Yo, Adrian! Rocky.
And lastly, for this Hall of Fame class, on Tuesday, the 4th of February, 2025, he can last Sean for longer than you in the ring.
Last call for chat Gables here. WrestleTalk.com/support. Every one over $5 we'll read out.
What are thoughts on Jay?
Yeah. So some guy just writes, Jay just stood there for 5 minutes and the crowd never stopped screaming. That man is 2008 Jeff Hardy levels of over. Also, I think Charlotte could work as a babyface if they gave her some adversity, like instead of Charlotte wins LOL.
She did win the Royal Rumble. That's some adversity.
She came out at number 27.
Yeah, well, Cody came out at number 30 and he won the Royal Rumble. No one said it was like, where's... Actually, they did say, where's the adversity?
Yeah. If she was number one and put in an insane performance, you'd be like, oh, maybe you could have gone on board with it. It's interesting you say Jeff Hardy, because that is a guy who I also just don't get.
Yeah.
But I cannot deny the levels of over he is. Similar to Jay. CJ Poira says, "Hey gents, this year's Rumble feels the most divisive yet. I shared my excitement for Jay's story and got told to F off. I just hope the road to Mania doesn't make the IWC more negative. Regardless, I hope everyone here enjoys the ride."
As I say every single time anyone uses the word IWC, just remember how we're all communicating with each other and what the I stands for.
Yeah, but I thought we were all going to love the Rumble. And I keep getting excited to talk to people, and they're like, "Yeah, it was all right." I think it's top 3.
I don't know if I would say it's top 3 matches ever, but it is like the most surprised I have been at a Royal Rumble win, I think, since Shinsuke Nakamura. And I say that as a huge, huge positive. Because I actually, when we did our TLC list recently, I had Shinsuke Nakamura quite high on my list, even though it led to a very disappointing WrestleMania run and a bad WrestleMania match. I was like, it was genuinely a win that gave me some hope that there is some bright future for this company and they're not just pushing all the same guys all the time. I think it's a really good thing that Jay won.
The Black Prince writes, "I'm so annoyed. I ignored all social media before the Royal Rumble to avoid spoilers. And what was the first thing I do Sunday morning before I can watch it? Open Reddit. Bam! Men's Royal Rumble spoiled. Lol. I'm so pumped for Jay, though. And WrestleMania is so unpredictable right now."
Yeah.
Heart emoji.
Don't go on Reddit.
Former mod Jalen writes, "Hey guys, so I've been thinking and came up with a crazy theory. Jay wins the World Heavyweight Championship at Mania, and Sami loses to KO. Sami disappears for a few months, but then returns and attacks Jay for betraying him, setting up a match for SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. Also, to point out, they said on commentary that Jay is in fact going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. I guess that makes sense if you want to send the crowd on night 1 home happy with Jay winning. Also, Drew versus Priest for Mania makes no sense to me." I
don't want to be... I don't want to be Captain Negative over here, but a lot of matches get called the main event of WrestleMania when they are not the main event of WrestleMania.
Jey Uso gets called the main event.
Well, you know, Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the World Heavyweight Championship was from Sheamus winning the Royal Rumble and was like, this is one of the WrestleMania main events. They have a lot of one of the WrestleMania main events. Just because you are saying you are in the main event doesn't mean you're the actual main event. That was Punk's whole problem.
I think Sami disappearing for that long sort of loses the momentum. But I like the idea. Luke Bank shot Owen from your cheating, I assume. Obviously, we know the internet is weird, and obviously they have merit. Look at Charlotte. But man, did the IWC lose credibility when the crowd popped for Jay?
What is the IWC in 2025?
I think what they mean is really the really markiest of marks.
Because I hear people say that we are part of the IWC. And I would say that we are because we're on the internet and part of a wrestling community.
I think this is more directed at a negative portion of the IWC. I think when used in this context.
Okay.
Not the whole IWC.
Well, that's not what this guy is. They said the IWC lost credibility.
Yeah, but I think they're talking in context with the whole thing about the thumbs down ratios for those YouTube things. And I guess that's driven by the negative side of the IWC, who are like, Charlotte wins and Jay wins is bad. Everyone, let's mobilize on that.
Yeah, I guess. It's just some people are dicks.
Yeah, that's kind of, it's the dicks of the IWC.
Okay.
The Vaporwave Mothman. Personally, Jay isn't for me. He's over, that's great, but swear if there is another backstage heat report about someone going overtime like Penta in his debut, but nothing in terms of 10 plus minutes of just yeeting. His promo was sweet and endearing, but my lord.
Well, I mean, they probably gave that segment the time to give like a whole point of Jay being on TV every week in the same way that Too Cool were on TV every single week in the year 2000 was because they do the dance and the crowd love it when they do the dance. Maybe Scotty 2 High should have won the Royal Rumble.
King Burbs. I love the most polar opposite reactions from Charlotte and Jay. Does this mean Rikishi can sleep at night finally? Also, Ollie, we all know you didn't make the paper in the bin last week.
And we've all seen the evidence, right? You've now missed 7 shots.
Could a guy who can't get a bit of paper in the bin do this? Every time. Chris Deaton writes, I'm extremely happy Jay got this moment, and I actually called it, and him going over Cena. I figured they'd tease Cody's opponent out longer. Also, I think Logan Paul versus AJ at Mania might be a great match.
Be a really good match.
Yeah, because Logan eliminated AJ in the Rumble. Ash Vinash Anthonan has been a member for 16 months in a row. Let's yeet everyone. Fam from Malaysia. Love you all. Jam that jam. Hi, Mammy, Mod, and Mods. Did y'all see when Priest Knight and Truth Nakamura was lurking? Laurie next. Jam that jam.
Priest Knight and Truth Nakamura?
Maybe that was for Jay's win?
Maybe.
Julio Mendoza. Hello, y'all. All right, so I'm more open to this Jey Uso thing, after seeing him get emotional during his promo. But how do they expect to make me care about this feud? They have 6 to 7 weeks to do. But I'm trying to stay open-minded.
Yeah, they have got... we're still a while off. Like, WrestleMania is not until pretty much the end of April. So we've got a long time before we get to WrestleMania.
Kevin writes, if someone told me 15 years ago that one of the 2 guys who made their debut in complete silence would win the Royal Rumble and make me emotional, I would never have believed that I would still be watching wrestling. But I'm really happy for Jay. Sorry, I butchered the delivery of your joke.
It's a very good chat, though.
Yeah. Hot tag to you.
This is on the subject of the New Day. Tante Kennedy said, so the New Day music threw me off and I didn't like it at first. Then I listened to it without the booze and realized it was good. Saw who made it and imagine my surprise to see it's Jim Johnston. It begs the question, are we finally done with Def Rebel? Was it Jim Johnston?
I didn't know that.
Let's have a look. So, well, I'm not sure if that's right because Sean was talking about this on Fightful being like, Jim Johnston like turned 73 this year. Like, he's not the guy to be turning to for new music. I'm going to fact check that.
Chris Deaton writes, I need a New Day segment, hopefully in Big E's hometown, where they tell Ridge Holland, thank you for getting rid of the dead weight. It'll start a riot. Sort of what me and Luke had that in our 3-count predictions for the year, a sort of Ridge Holland segment. Rafael Garcia writes, in 2025, one of the things I didn't think I'd be doing is coming to bat for Carlito Caribbean Cool. Yeah, here we are. So now I ask, what are we doing? Is he just going to be PS5 and Apple Man? Why'd they release Duke Hudson? Who really is Byron Saxton? Yeah, Duke Hudson's gone. A bit of a shame.
Yeah. Well, I don't
He's
know
one of your most pushed guys on Monday Night Raw.
On 2K24, yeah. Yeah, obviously, I don't know what the story is because, it was kept very quiet and Fightful Select reporting and like, we're looking in to find out why this happened.
As for Carlito, I think it sounded like he did have some singles plans, but didn't pan out.
So the Jim Johnston thing, I think it's because the song is called like New Day, New Way. That was the name of the song that Jim Johnston originally wrote. So it's like he gets a credit for it because it's that title.
So he didn't have input on the new version, maybe.
As far as I can see.
Shell Hard writes, hi guys, I thought this was a very good episode of Raw. The Punk Sammy match was brilliant, but I can't be arsed with it with Liv. I don't like her matches. I don't like her promos. And she beats my favourite. I can't wait for this Liv push to be done. And please push EO.
No, I was saying that.
Yeah.
No, I was here last summer. Demon Arc here said, so I have a bone to pick with Raw. This show was around 2.5 hours long and there were 4 matches, one of which was a wet fart to put Logan Paul over, who, by the way, was wearing lifted shoes. There was so much filler on this episode.
I liked all the talking segments, though.
Me too.
I thought they accomplished a lot.
Caslow25 says, really hope we get some vignettes of Chad's journey into studying the dark arts, stuff reminiscent of pre-film stuff during the Attitude Era.
I'm very optimistic.
Yeah. Mr. Mamba here said, meant to say this during the Rumble review, but we're still recovering. What a Rumble experience for my first one in person. My personal favorite moment was actually making CM Punk laugh on SmackDown. You can slightly catch it on the broadcast.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Joe Murphy here said, hi guys, just wanted your thoughts on this as a WrestleMania main event. Jay versus Gunther and Cody versus Cena versus Punk versus Rollins versus Reigns versus Drew in a 6-man ladder match. Get multiple storylines told. I'd have Cody lose to start his Homelander turn and Punk win.
Sorry, I saw it ahead and I started laughing. I'm sorry, Joe. That is the most Ollie as a teenager booking.
Yeah.
Just put them all in. And it should be a ladder match. I think that's a bad idea.
I'm in the same boat when I saw people saying they should do Punk, Rollins, and Roman as a triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me want to see it less. I want to see Roman versus Rollins or Punk versus Roman. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Punk versus Rollins, but I do want to just see either one of those two options, not a three-way.
Also, Elimination Chamber will be a 6-man chamber match with Cena, Punk, and probably Rollins in.
Yeah.
And then you do another 6-man match at Mania. It's not for me.
Cody Meniger, who's been a member for 32 months in a row, said, "Hi guys, been a month and I still can't get over Penta in WWE. Forever his fan. Hope all is well with the WrestleTalk crew. Jam that jam." Real Double J here said, just a wellness check-in. How many times did you play Amanda Palmer performing Radiohead's No Surprises on a ukulele after Sunday, Ollie?
Why? What happened on Sunday? I mean, I really like that cover. Was I listening to it on the Monday Night War thing?
Maybe you were. More than 5, and we'll call security for GMP and Luke so we don't package pile driver him at the end of the stream. King Burbs here said, "Hey guys, just want to say I've been watching you guys for over 6 years. Haven't had a chance to donate, but I'm able to now. Good job for all you guys have done at WrestleTalk. And I'm attending Chamber live. Also, Punk and Cena start match. What a throwback."
That would be awesome.
That's the one.
Because they didn't interact properly in the Rumble,
King the Guard here said, "Hi friend, this is my first Ultra Chat, and I first want to say thank you for all the work that you do and to give you your flowers. Second, what if it's Sword versus Roman, Punk and Zayn at Mania? Third, Luke, give Ollie his rematch, you cheat."
Yeah, absolute cheat. The people have spoken. Smart people. Very, very good people.
It was a wank shot, a bank shot. I guess I got it off the rim.
So
the championship has chosen me.
You're proposing Sword, which is Owens, Drew, and Rollins, versus Roman, Punk, and Zayn at Mania. I think that is like the main event of a fantastic episode of Raw.
Yes.
I wouldn't have that as a Mania match, even though we booked that in our something similar.
We didn't book Roman and Punk in it, though. And we sort of very much downgrade a lot of other people.
Yeah.
We put Seth and Jay in that position. Mr. Mamba has become a Memberg, and the Jedi Muffin has tipped with no message. Thank you very much. Kenneth Jones here said, "Felt bad for Charlotte, but the boos weren't just about her winning. Roman won 4 straight years and is loved. She's just uninteresting. She never changes her character despite the backstage power she has to do so. Never got an interesting promo. She's boring."
I disagree with that, actually. I think she's a fantastic wrestler. She's got real stage presence. She just needs to be a heel.
Yes, she's better as a heel.
She's better as a heel. The problem is that when she comes back, they always try and push her as a face.
I wonder if this is a little bit of Triple H was like, well, when I came back in 2002, after I tore my quad, I came back in 2002 and I was welcomed back as an all-conquering babyface. And I think that's what we can do the same for you here. Demon Arc here said, "So after the show, I thought the Rumble was top 3 too, but upon rewatch, it felt clunky in spots. So good, but probably only top 10.
I need to rewatch it. I need to probably wait until Mania to properly slot it in. But interesting to hear."
And Ahmed Jihad has become a member.
Thank you very much. What was the overall score on the poll?
The overall score indeed was 78% thumbs up, 20% in the middle.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us all here today. Please go over to Geology and scan the code or click the link to get a good offer there on moisturizing your face and loads of other grooming routine tips. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen, DAD. Jam that champion.
Jam that champion.
Jam that jam.